Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
In the waning days of a second summer at war, under the blazing Black Sea sun, you find, well, people at the beach. It's actually the first time some of this Odessa coastline has been open for business since the Russian invasion. And while Olga has brought her family for a change of scenery, there is no getting away from it.
Here, can you forget the war for a little bit?
Sirens at night don't let you forget. No, we don't forget. At least I don't. But I hope my kids and parents get distracted a little bit.
Still, those who can make the most of it. Life goes on even in wartime. And here at the Calaton Beach Club, it's somehow comforting to watch parents slap protective gear onto their infants as if sunburn is the worst that can happen. But of course, it's not.
So does that mean orthopedics or anything?
15 minutes away in the center of town is a modern private recovery and rehabilitation unit, one of 10 set up around the country by a Ukrainian philanthropist. Here, in a full-body sling, 41-year-old Vitaly tells us that he volunteered for the front as a D-miner until he was blown up by an anti-personnel mine 8 months ago in Kherson. The first wave hit my face because I was bending down, he says, and shrapnel entered my eye, another bit hit my finger, and 3 of my toes were blown off. On the rehab bed next to him, 43-year-old Ruslan's injury is less dramatic. Spine and back problems from suddenly having to haul heavy gear around.
Do you need to get into better shape?
If I was 20, he tells me, it would be different. But I'm 43, and so it's difficult. But he wants to go back to the front like Vitaly does just as soon as they're patched up. Still motivated, still sure of victory. But then the talk suddenly turns.
Vitaly, what do you think you need?
Immobilized and prone, he's crystal clear. We need more weapons and jets to close the sky from the Russian missiles, he says. When a soldier is fighting there and his family is here unprotected, what do you think goes through our minds? Andrei tells me his psychological trauma is worse than the shrapnel to his hand because he, like all of them, want to be back at the front with their comrades to fight for their country and their family. I have a mother, a father, a wife, and a cat, he tells me. Back at the seaside, Sergei, a 59-year-old conscript based in Kherson, defends his beach-time break.
In the middle of war, you don't feel strange?
Yeah, it looks like a little bit strange, but we need some relaxing.
He'll be back under arms after his 15-day furlough, and he insists their counter-offensive is going according to plan.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
Former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
To start wholesale trying to change the way that we conduct elections state by state, I can tell you we're asking for problems, we're asking for fraud.
Taking the stand in a federal courtroom in Georgia after he, former President Donald Trump, and 17 others were charged with racketeering by the Fulton County District Attorney for their attempts to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia.
You can't ever accept when they steal and rig and rob.
Meadows, who has kept a stunningly low profile amid the various investigations into Donald Trump, now breaking his silence on the case under oath. Those were challenging times, bluntly, Meadows told the court of his White House tenure. As Meadows seeks to move his case from state to federal court, the focus of Monday's hearing, prosecutors delved into their case and some of the allegations against Meadows. Meadows denying under oath that he directed another White House aide to write a memo about how to delay or disrupt the certification of the election on January 6th, saying he had zero recollection of that happening, and it was the biggest surprise to me upon reading the indictment. Putting Meadows on the stand to challenge the events he's accused of participating in Georgia, a risky approach for any criminal defendant. Meadows looking to make the case that his activities after the 2020 election were part of his official duties as chief of staff, including arranging the call between Trump and Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
Mr. President, everybody is on the line, and just so, this is Mark Meadows, the chief of staff.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
When prosecutors questioned what federal role Meadows was fulfilling in post-election calls with Trump and another purveyor of election falsehoods, his then personal attorney Rudy Giuliani,
we cannot allow these crooks, because that's what they are, to steal an election from the American people. They elected Donald Trump. They didn't elect Joe Biden.
Meadows said he was acting as a gatekeeper and insisted there was a federal interest in accurate and fair elections. Meadows also claimed he wasn't the driving force in pushing bogus claims of election fraud. But when then Attorney General Bill Barr dismissed the fraud claims,
I made it clear I did not agree with the idea of saying the election was stolen and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was.
Meadows said he felt that further investigation was warranted.
Like the Advocate channel on Facebook for the best way to get updates on stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
Gunfire erupted at the Southern Restaurant and Lounge in Louisville, Kentucky, early Sunday morning.
Enough is enough. We can and we must do more.
Police say at least 2 adult males were killed in the shooting while 5 others were hospitalized. This is among the nearly 500 mass shootings in the U.S. in 2023, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Both CNN and the GVA define a mass shooting as an incident where at least 4 people are killed or injured, not including the shooter.
Too many families are having to bury their loved ones. Too many children are being left without mothers and fathers, lost to senseless gun violence.
The GVA says the U.S. has had more mass shootings this year since at least 2013, which is when the nonprofit group started tracking gun violence.
We need more stringent background checks. There are a plethora of things we can do to tighten our laws.
Data from the GVA also shows more than 20 mass shootings have erupted in the U.S. during the week that ended August 27th.
We have a violent gun problem in our country. We know that.
More than 50% of U.S. adults say they or a family member experienced a gun-related incident in their lives, according to a survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation earlier this year. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. Here's our number 1 story of the day. Take a look.
Millions of people across Florida are anxiously watching and tracking Hurricane Idalia, forecast to rapidly intensify into a Category 3 hurricane before making landfall. Emergency management officials say this is the final day to hunker down before the storm hits tomorrow.
It's a race against time in Florida. Store shelves have been wiped bare, boats have been pulled from the water, and evacuations have been ordered.
We are going to see portions of the Gulf Coast that will experience 8 to 12 foot of storm surge.
This is life-threatening storm surge. If you're in coastal low-lying areas from Tampa up through Big Bend, you need to be ready to evacuate to an inland area.
Idalia is forecast to rapidly intensify as it gains strength over some of the warmest waters on Earth in the Gulf of Mexico. The storm is expected to strike Florida with fury as a powerful Category 3 hurricane, packing destructive winds up to 120 miles per hour.
Pay attention to what's going on in your area. Listen to your local emergency management officials. This is going to be a major hurricane. It's likely to continue strengthening all the way until impact.
Officials sending out a warning on power outages ahead of time.
The governor has said it. You're going to experience power outages, so please be prepared for those power outages.
At least 22 counties have issued evacuation orders. Idalia is forecast to make landfall Wednesday late morning to early afternoon. In Clearwater, Florida, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.